Before I start off this video, I just wanted to let someone know that your past, it only tells where you've been. It doesn't dictate where you're going. Sometimes we close the book of our lives before we ever reach the ending. But what I have to say is that if God is the author of your story, do not forget that God is also the finisher of the story as well. So just keep the faith just a little bit longer. Hold on to that praise for just a little while longer. Keep believing, keep seeking, keep following after God for just a little while longer, because God is not done with you yet. Just keep holding on. When reading Matthew chapter 4, it talked about how the Spirit led Jesus into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. And now that alone has a whole message within itself. But the thing that stood out to me, the word and message that God had placed in my heart, was when Jesus was walking by the Sea of Galilee. And as he was walking by the Sea of Galilee, he noticed two brothers. One of them was named Simon, that most people call Peter, and the other brother's name was Andrew. See, Peter and Andrew, they were casting nets into the sea. They were collecting fish because they were fishermen. And Jesus had noticed that they were doing their job, that they were casting nets into the sea. So Jesus said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." And immediately, Peter and Andrew left their nets behind, and they followed after him. Now, the reason this stood out to me is because in those days, the education system wasn't like how it is now. These men were fishermen through and through. All they knew how to do was fish. All they knew how to do was cast their net out into the sea and fish. Fishing was their livelihood. Fishing is what kept the lights on. Fishing is what kept clothes on their back. Fishing is what kept food on their table. Their entire lives revolved around fishing. All they ever knew how to do was fish. Nothing more, nothing less. But Jesus calls them. Jesus calls the fishermen. Now, Jesus could have walked to the temple. He could have called the scribes. He could have called the chief priest. He could have called the rabbis, the teachers. Those who are well-versed in scripture. Those who are well-versed in the prophecies. Those who are well-versed in the coming of the Messiah. But he calls fishermen. There are plenty of other people who are more qualified than these fishermen. But Jesus calls out to them. He could have went anywhere. He could have went to the temples. He could have went to the palace. He could have gone anywhere. But he went out by the sea, called out some fishermen. Now, the basis of this message is not about how Jesus calls the unqualified and makes them qualified, even though I will touch upon that one day. But today isn't that day. What I want to talk about is dropping your net. See, these men, they are fishermen, and they need their nets. The net is of importance. They didn't have fishing rods. They didn't have the special gear that they had now to catch fish. They had a net. They put their hope in the net. If the net didn't get them any fish, then they couldn't make a living. Their entire lives depended on how much fish this net caught. The net had supplied all their needs and allowed them to live comfortably. See, we all carry nets. We all have our nets, but our nets look a little different than Peter's and Andrew's. See, our nets may look like our dream job. Our nets may come in the shape and form of our dream job. If I have this dream job, I can live comfortably. I can have food on my table, clothes on my back. I can live comfortably. I can travel and go wherever I want to go. Our nets look like our dream lifestyle. If I just work hard enough, if I keep casting my net out, I'll catch enough fish and make enough money to live my dream lifestyle. If I save up thousands and thousands of dollars, I can live my dream lifestyle. I can build up my business. I can be rich. I can be a millionaire by 25. If I dedicate my life to this sport, I can become a millionaire by 22. I can go to the NFL draft and be a millionaire by 22. We have all these dreams that we put our hope in, and we cast our dreams out into the sea, hoping that we catch something of worth and value, something that will supply all our needs. This net is gonna get me my dream job. Cast it out. This net right here, I built up this net myself. I worked hard, I put hours in the gym. I'm going to make it to the league. Cast it out. This net right here, I saved up money for this net. I'm going to cast it out and I'm going to get my dream business. Now, don't get me wrong. There is nothing wrong with having dreams, goals, and aspirations. It's okay to dream, but a dream without God is always going to be a nightmare. It doesn't matter how much money you saved up. It doesn't matter how nice the lifestyle looks. It doesn't matter how nice the career is. A dream without God will always be a nightmare. That's a dream not worth living at all. Sometimes we hold on to our nets, and we hold on to our nets a lot tighter than we thought we were. We hold on to our dream career. We hold on to the dream lifestyle. We hold on to the dream so tight that when God stops by and says, "Follow me," we can't let go of the net. See, we're holding on to our nets so tight that when God calls, we try and bargain with God. God, there's still some things I need to do before I follow after you, God. There's some more money I need to make before I follow after you, God. I just need this job, God. Just get me this job and I'll follow after you. I'll serve you. I'll go wherever you need me to go. Just get me the job. Just let me cast out this net first. Let me get this job first and I'll follow after you. I put in years trying to get this career. I put in years trying to get this lifestyle. And you want me to give it all up to follow after you? You want me to drop my net and follow after you? My dreams, my goals, my aspirations, this is how I'm going to make a living. There is no other life for me, God. This is how I make a living. This is how I'll survive. This is what's going to keep my family fed. This, my dreams, my goals. There's still some fishes I need to catch, God, before I follow after you. I can't just drop my net. My net is going to supply my needs. I'm going to be honest. I struggled with dropping my net. I worked hard to try and become a nurse. I didn't love it. I barely liked it, but it was the net that was going to supply my needs. I was doing nursing for all the wrong reasons. But I believed that if I just become a nurse, then I could get the finances, I could get the money. If I keep casting out my net into that sea of nursing, then all my needs will be supplied. I become a nurse, I make the money, I buy the nice home, I buy the nice cars, I live the dream lifestyle, I travel all over the place. All my needs are supplied. I don't have to worry about finances because nursing will cover that. I don't have to worry about vacations because nursing will cover that. I don't have to worry about what car I'm driving because nursing will cover that. I wasn't thinking about God. My mind wasn't on God. My mind wasn't on where God was calling me to be. I was persistent. I flunked out twice. I even considered going back a third time. There was no love for nursing. There was no ambition. There was no drive, but I wanted it so bad. I held on to that net so bad and I kept casting out into the sea and I was catching nothing, hoping that all my needs would be supplied. But I didn't realize that on the shore, God was calling me for something so much more. God was calling out to me, asking me to follow him, to make me a fisher of men. I'm just a fisherman. God could have reached out to everyone else who was much more equipped, who was much more qualified. I don't know the entire Bible. I wasn't reading scripture every day and praying every day like I should. Why are you calling me? I know about 15 other people at my church you could have called way before me. Why me? God was calling me for so much more. And I'm saying, God, hold on. Let me just cast it out one more time. I'll get this nursing degree. It will supply my needs. I'll live my dream life. Then I will focus on following after you afterwards. Just let me cast it out one more time. I can't drop this net just yet. What if I cast it out one more time and this is the time? This is the moment that all my dreams come true. See, Simon, Peter, and Andrew, they could have said, this is how we make our living. I need to be fishing out here. This is all that I know. The net has supplied all my needs. It's going to keep supplying all my needs. I just can't drop it just yet. They didn't know where following after Jesus was going to lead them. They didn't know the reward that they would get for following after Jesus. They didn't know where their next meal was coming from or how their needs were going to be supplied, but they dropped their nets. They answered the calling of God in their life, and not for a moment did God fail. See, we're holding on to these nets, hoping and expecting and dreaming that one day we're going to catch that one catch, the catch that's going to change our lives, and then we'll figure out our walk with God later. There is a minister by the name of Victor Jackson. This man was called to be an NBA player, D1 basketball player, heavily scouted. All his dreams and his goals and his plans were aligning. He cast out his net many of times, and the net was supplying all his needs. He was going to be a millionaire, but God called out to him from the shore, and he said, follow me. And God made him a fisher of men. God made him a minister. He has touched the lives of thousands and thousands of people, and he's touched my life as well. Peter and Andrew knew that they couldn't put their hope in the net and also put their hope in God. They had to make a decision right there and then on that boat. And without hesitation, they chose God. They left their net behind. They left their dreams, their goals, their ambitions, their desires, their wants, all behind, and they followed after Jesus. Following after Jesus, every need was met. All their wants were supplied, and their lives were forever changed. Some of us are still holding on to our nets today, and we're trying to hold on to our nets for as long as we can. That by the time we let go of our nets, we could turn around and hope that God is still at the shore waiting for us. God isn't going to wait forever. As grim and as dark as that may seem, God isn't waiting forever. You don't have forever to stop putting your hope in a net and start putting your hope in God. God made them fishers of men, meaning that in order for Peter and Andrew to have reached the souls that they were going to reach, they had to let go of their nets. In order for your friends to be touched by God, in order for some of your family to be touched by God, in order for some of the strangers that I can't even reach myself, but only you have access to, in order for them to be touched by God, you have to drop your net. Drop your net today. Come and see what the Lord will do. And I promise you, not for a moment or a second will you regret it.